6 hours! That is how long this race went on at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And by the end of it, Ross Chastain was bowing in victory lane, smashing a watermelon, and trying to make sense of a night nobody in NASCAR will forget. This was the Charbroil 300 on Saturday, the 23rd of May 2026. It was the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, and from the moment the green flag dropped just after 5 p.m., things went sideways. By the time NASCAR called it off, more than 6 hours had passed, and the second half of the race had not even happened. Because NASCAR threw the red flag during lap 91, scoring went back to the last fully finished lap. So this race is officially in the books as a 9-0 lap event. Out of those laps, 54 were run under caution. The race was supposed to go 200 laps. They ended it 110 laps short. But before we get into the rain, the fog, the oil slick, and the wreck, you need to know what was hanging over this weekend. 2 days earlier, on Thursday, NASCAR lost one of its biggest stars. Two-time Cup Series champion Kyle Busch died at age 41. His family said it was from severe pneumonia that turned into sepsis, so this race at Charlotte was the first NASCAR race finished since his death. Every driver, every crew member, every fan was carrying that weight. Now let's get to the race. Qualifying got rained out on Saturday, so NASCAR used a points formula to set the lineup. Justin Allgaier got the pole. Rookie Corey Day started next to him on the front row. Ross Chastain rolled off in 14th. The race even got going an hour earlier than planned because of the weather coming in. When the green flag waved, Allgaier jumped out to the lead. But Sam Mayer was right there fighting him hard, side by side, lap after lap. Then on lap 2, the first caution flew. Harrison Burton spun in turn 3 after getting tagged by Jesse Love. Rain misted down, so the field stayed behind the pace car for a while. The race went back to green around lap 11. Mayer and Allgaier kept swapping the lead. Then on lap 25, NASCAR called a planned competition caution. Most of the field came down pit road. Allgaier got out first and stayed in front. Then came the moment that broke the night in half. On lap 33, the rain came back harder. NASCAR brought everyone down pit road and threw the red flag. And it stayed out for 4 hours, 21 minutes, and 59 seconds. That is over 4 hours of just sitting and waiting. Chastain said he fell asleep on the floor of his hauler during the delay. Even team owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. went home. That is how long this delay was. Finally, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the race went back to green. Allgaier led, but then Connor Zilisch made a move and started battling him for the top spot. They swapped the lead a couple of times. Then on lap 41, Allgaier got loose and Zilisch slipped past for good. When stage 1 ended on lap 45, it was Zilisch in first, Allgaier in second, and Chastain in third. Now, stage 2 started, and this is where things got crazy. On the restart, on lap 52, the field stacked up. Behind the leaders, Sheldon Creed bumped Brandon Jones and got him sideways. Jones slammed into his teammate Brent Cruz, and both of them went flying up the track and crashed into Harrison Burton against the wall. Cruz and Burton were done for the night. Jones somehow kept going, but his car was wrecked, and he ended up finishing 35th, a full 29 laps behind the leaders. Chastain restarted on lap 58 and pushed Austin Hill to the front, then drove right past him to take the lead. The Richard Childress racing cars of Hill and Love were running second and third. Then on lap 60, another caution. Sam Mayer was racing in the top 5 when he got loose, turned right, and slammed the wall hard. His race was over with bad right-side damage. On the lap 66 restart, Jesse Love did something wild. He went 3 wide, dove underneath both Hill and Chastain on the backstretch, and took the lead. Then Chastain came back. For the next 4 laps, Chastain and Love traded the lead back and forth like they were playing tag at 180 miles per hour. Chastain finally cleared him on lap 72 and started to pull away. And then it happened. Dawson Cram's engine blew, and his car dumped oil all over the track. Chastain came into turn 1 like normal, and suddenly his car was sliding sideways into the wall. He was not alone. Allgaier, Taylor Gray, and Sheldon Creed all hit the wall too. The leader, Ross Chastain, just smashed into the fence while leading the race. Talking about that moment, he said, "I did not think we would win one like this, driving into the fence in liquid. I have no idea what it was. I went into turn 1 like normal, and there was something on the track. Even with right-side damage, Chastain kept the lead. The caution stayed out a long time while crews tried to clean up the oil. But now, the track was getting misty. Then, it got foggy. Nascar tried to set up a late restart, but visibility was just too bad. Stage 2 ended under caution, with Chastain still in front. 1 lap later, the field came back to pit road, the red flag came out again, and that was it. NASCAR called the race official. Ross Chastain was the winner. And then came the moment that made the night feel different. Chastain climbed up on the roof of his number 9 JR Motorsports Chevy. He said, "I have to do it." Then he folded his right arm in front of him and bowed at the waist. That was Kyle Busch's signature move in victory lane. Chastain did it for him. After the bow, he smashed his watermelon like he always does. Talking about the tribute later, Chastain said, "I didn't know what I was going to do, and we had conversations about, do we smash the watermelon or not? We were very aware and mourning with everybody. The bow I did was in the most respectful way of showmanship to one of the greatest drivers I've ever raced against, and to do it as a nod to him." On losing Kyle Busch, Chastain said, "This weekend, it's just incredible to try and grasp losing Kyle. I just don't understand how he's not here racing. I don't grasp it, mentally or spiritually. Obviously, racing is the best thing we can do to celebrate him and what he did in this sport and in his life." This was Chastain's first O'Reilly Series win since 2019. That is a 6-year drought. It was his first ever win at Charlotte in this series and his first win for JR Motorsports. He led 28 laps, more than anyone else. And because the race was called under caution and never went back to green, the official scoring froze the field right where it was. That is how the gap between Chastain and Jesse Love in second place ended up at just 0.001 seconds on the scoring sheet. Jesse Love, who finished second, was furious at first. He said, "I'm mad. I think it's a complete joke with NASCAR handling the event how they handled it." But then, he caught himself. He said, "Then I kind of realized if this week's taught us anything, it's that this all doesn't matter as much as we think it does. There are things way more important than a trophy." As much as I'm angry and confused and upset, I also realize there's a lot of hurt people right now. Austin Hill finished third. William Sawalich was fourth. Corey Day rounded out the top 5. There were 14 lead changes among 7 drivers in this short race. Justin Allgaier, who led the most laps in Stage 1, ended up 29th after damage from the oil slick.